An 82-year-old man walked every morning. One day he sat down and never got up again. What if that were you, just one dizzy spell away from the same fate? Many people assume that once you hit 70 or 80, everything slows down. Shaky hands, weak legs, a fading memory, faltering speech. And they think that's just natural, something you accept. But you know what? That is not the whole story. There are still people in their 80s who move with ease, speak with clarity, and are even healthier than they were at 60 because they knew how to properly care for their bodies. Especially for anyone who's had a stroke or worries about the risk, these signs of aging in reverse aren't just welcome news. They're proof the body can recover if you give it the chance. In this video, I'll share 5 simple signs that you are aging in reverse, meaning your body, despite the years, is holding on to remarkable clarity, balance, and vitality. If you've ever thought, I'm old, this is just how it is, then you'll want to stick around, because you might be healthier than you realize. And age is just a number on a page. Let's dive into our first sign of aging in reverse. You can walk quickly without feeling dizzy. If you think walking slowly is just part of being over 80, you could be overlooking a warning sign of an impending stroke. After 80, feeling dizzy or losing balance when standing or walking fast becomes all too common for many. So when someone walks steadily without needing to stop and catch their breath, people often think, wow, they must be in great shape. But few realize this is a quiet signal that the brain and circulatory system are working smoothly, something often lost after a stroke. According to research from the U.S. National Institute on Aging, a gradual decline in walking speed is normal. But if slowness comes with dizziness or the stumbling, it could warn of mild cerebral ischemia, a condition that often precedes a major stroke. The brain isn't getting enough oxygen and nutrients, causing a temporary loss of control. I once met a man named Martha at a community health workshop in Seattle. At 82, he walked every morning. No cane, no company. He shared that at 75, he nearly fell leaving a supermarket after his vision blurred and he lost his balance. Luckily, someone caught him. After that scare, he saw a doctor and discovered he had pre-stroke symptoms. He changed his diet, started gentle exercises, and took his blood pressure seriously. Today, his every step is proof of his mindfulness and healthy living. On the other hand, my old neighbor Ronald always insisted, getting old means slowing down. He would often stand up too fast, only to sit right back down, dizzy. One afternoon, he collapsed while walking to the post office. Doctors confirmed he'd had a stroke from a lack of blood flow to the brain, despite having no clear history of heart disease. The one thing he didn't do was get it checked out. If you brush off a little staggering or think my legs are just tired, you're letting the chance to prevent a stroke pass by every day. Because the line between a little tired and a blocked artery in your brain can be just a few minutes of early diagnosis. So what can you do today? Try measuring your blood pressure morning and afternoon for 3 straight days. Write it down. If you see any unusual swings, no matter how small, see a doctor. This is the simplest step toward managing a hidden stroke risk. Your body sends signals every single day. The question is, are you listening before it's too late? And beyond a steady gait, here's another welcome sign many overlook. You still speak clearly and smoothly without unusual hesitation or struggling for words. One unfinished sentence, dismissed as senior forgetfulness, could be what prevents you from saying a final goodbye to your son. Many people think stuttering, slurring, or forgetting words is just a normal part of getting older. But in reality, it can be an early alarm for serious changes in the brain, especially for those at risk of stroke. When your speech suddenly falters, don't just write it off as old age. According to the American Stroke Association, one of the most common signs of a mini-stroke is difficulty speaking, slurred speech, or using incorrect words. These episodes can last for seconds and then vanish, causing many to ignore them. But if caught early, they are a golden opportunity for intervention before a major stroke hits. I'll never forget the story of Walter, a retired high school teacher in Oregon. One morning, telling his grandson a story, he suddenly paused, unable to find the word clock. His family thought he was joking, but he knew something was wrong. He went to a doctor immediately, and an MRI revealed small signs of a transient ischemic attack, a warning mini-stroke. Thanks to early treatment, he still volunteers as a teacher today. His voice is warm and clear as ever. In contrast, 79-year-old Evelyn started repeating words and sometimes mixing up her grandkids' names. Everyone assumed it was normal confusion. One day she couldn't call for an ambulance because she couldn't say her own address. At the hospital, doctors confirmed a massive stroke hours after the golden window. That delay in recognizing the problem cost her the ability to speak forever. Clarity in speech is an honest reflection of brain health. If you find yourself starting to fumble with your words, don't stay quiet. Listen and then act. Each morning, try reading a short paragraph from a paper or book aloud. If you struggle to maintain a steady rhythm or repeat words, make a note and track it for a few days. It's a simple way to spot even the slightest change in your language skills. Sometimes one single unfinished sentence is the warning your body is trying to send. Listening to your own voice could save you from a stroke that gives no other warning. And here's another positive sign you can spot in daily life. Your hands don't shake when you write, button your shirt, or simply hold a spoon. If your handwriting suddenly turns into a scrawl, don't just blame old age. It could be the first whisper of a stroke. As people enter their 80s, their hands often lose some dexterity. A tremor while holding a spoon or crooked handwriting is what many consider a fact of life for the elderly, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's an early sign of a motor nerve disorder, and occasionally a warning that a stroke is on the horizon. According to the Mayo Clinic, hand tremors have many causes, but if they come with muscle weakness or trouble with fine motor control, especially on one side of the body, the problem likely originates in the brain's motor control center. A stroke, even a minor one, can make these areas misfire, causing unexplained intermittent tremors. Mr. Harris, a retired carpenter from Iowa, was always proud of his steady-as-a-rock hands. But at 81, he noticed his writing was slower and veered off the line. No pain, no tiredness, his hand just wouldn't listen. He didn't ignore it. A checkup revealed a tiny spot of ischemia in his left cerebral hemisphere, the area for fine motor control. Early detection and treatment mean he can still write in his journal every night, his script as neat as ever. In contrast, 85-year-old Doris often blamed her age when she couldn't keep her soup spoon steady. One afternoon, she dropped her glass 3 times. Shortly after, she had a mild stroke. Despite prompt medical care, she needed over a year of physical therapy to regain her grip. A hand tremor isn't just an annoyance, it can be your brain's first warning. Pay close attention if it appears suddenly, is uneven between your hands, or is paired with a slight loss of balance. Each day, take 3 minutes to write a short paragraph. Look at the letters. Are they shaky, slanted, or broken? If so, don't dismiss it. That's your cue to get your cerebral circulation checked. When your hands are steady enough to write a clean line, you're not just holding onto a piece of your youth, you're holding onto the chance to prevent a devastating stroke. If you're still with me and finding this helpful, let me know by dropping a yes in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hitting that subscribe button and the little bell helps you stay updated. Your support is what allows us to keep making content that inspires and informs. And if you can stand up from a chair without grabbing onto it or someone nearby, that's a sign of more than just strong muscles. An 82-year-old woman fell in her bathroom. It wasn't a slip, her legs simply gave out. Her doctor found the cause, a silent minor stroke she never even knew she'd had. Many seniors start relying on armrests, railings, or other people to get up, thinking it's an unavoidable part of aging. But did you know that an inability to stand up firmly can be an early sign of weakness in the brain's motor control region, and sometimes a quiet warning of a potential stroke? Experts at Johns Hopkins Medicine link a loss of postural control or needing help to go from sitting to standing with a decline in neurological function. When the brain, especially the cerebellum and motor cortex, doesn't get enough blood, seniors may feel their legs are unusually weak or unsteady, even without obvious dizziness. Mr. George, an 83-year-old veteran in New Jersey, can still rise from his sofa without using his hands. His secret is 10 unassisted back-straight squats every morning. 3 years ago, he went through a phase where his legs felt like lead, and he had to push off a table to stand. He got checked out and found a small artery to his brain was almost 60% blocked. With timely treatment and exercise, he fully recovered. Meanwhile, Mrs. Linda in Arizona considered handrails a normal part of being 80. She didn't realize her growing dependence on them was a sign her legs were weakening abnormally fast. When she fell in the bathroom, her doctor diagnosed a minor stroke she'd had weeks earlier without realizing it. Don't wait until you can't get up to think about your health. The ability to stand up confidently and decisively is proof that your nervous system and cerebral blood flow are working well. Try the 10-rep test. Sit on an armless chair, then stand up and sit down 10 times in a row without using your hands. If it's a struggle or you have to pause for breath, take it as a sign to get your brain and muscle function checked. Standing up unassisted might seem small, but it's a declaration that you are still in command of your body, one step, one breath, and one stroke-free day at a time. And finally, a sign few notice but is critically important. You still remember what you need to do each day. Forgot your pills yesterday. Can't remember today's lunch. Don't write it off as normal. It could be a stroke knocking at the door. Many older adults joke that being old means being forgetful. But forgetting what you ate, whether you took your medicine or even a loved one's name, can be the first silent signal of brain damage from mild ischemia or a mini stroke you never knew happened. According to the American Alzheimer's Association, age-related memory loss is typically slow and steady. But when memory declines suddenly or there are unexplained memory gaps, especially for simple daily routines, it could be a consequence of a cerebral circulation issue. A minor stroke, though leaving no obvious physical trace, can still seriously damage the brain's short-term memory center. I met an 84-year-old woman named Helen at a community fitness class in San Diego. She knew her medication schedule by heart, remembered everyone's name, and even helped others keep track of appointments. Few knew that 4 years prior she was diagnosed as high risk for a stroke. But by managing her blood pressure and doing daily memory exercises, she stayed sharp. Meanwhile, my old neighbor Charles started by just forgetting to turn off the stove or misplacing his keys. His family chalked it up to senior moments. But one day he couldn't remember how to get home from a walk around the block. At the hospital, doctors found multiple small areas of his brain had been damaged by undetected transient ischemic attacks. We often dismiss small lapses, thinking they're no big deal. But if you've ever forgotten an appointment, missed your medication, or felt lost doing a familiar task, take it as a message from your body. Try writing down 5 things to do each morning and check them off at the end of the day. This not only helps you stay on track, but it's also a gentle way to monitor your memory over time. Remembering your daily tasks isn't just a sign you're still sharp. It's proof you're keeping your brain healthy, one day at a time, and quietly turning back the clock. One day you'll look in the mirror and have a thought, wow, I can still get around, I know what day it is, and I can still smile while making my morning tea. Don't take those things for granted, but just take they're granted. Because at 70, 75, those things are victories. And if you ever thought a stroke or decline was inevitable, remember this: every time you choose to get up instead of staying seated, to write a note instead of letting it go, to move, eat right, and sleep well, you are helping yourself age in reverse. If this video helped you see the positive signs in your own life, please share it with the people you care about, because you never know. A simple, kind word today might restore hope for someone losing faith in their later years. And if you have a little secret for staying healthy, sharp, or balanced, please leave a comment below. Your story could be the most powerful inspiration for everyone here. Here's to your health, your confidence, and to feeling just a little bit younger every single day.